I really want my work to be felt in the gut. I think that's a really important visceral response that I want to gain. It's something I feel when I paint, and also when I dance, that sense of being centralized, that there's this kind of holding together of the self. That makes it sound very controlled, but it's also not. But it's just that sense of being there. And what I want is when someone stands in front of my paintings, that they also have that sense of bodily self, that kind of visceral being. I really want there to be a sense of movement and gesture and vitality. I think vitality is really important to me. You know, a sense of life force, a sense of presence, a sense of being in the moment, and a sense of being with that painting at that time. You know, something that I'm really interested in is kinesthetic empathy. This was something that we were taught about on my dance training. And it's this process when, you know, when you're sat there as a viewer watching a dance performance, watching someone move, that there is actually a central nervous system response to that movement, to that gesture. You know, that sense where you've got hair standing up on your arms, where your skin suddenly tightens, and there's that embodied response to the movement, so that you're not necessarily moving yourself, you just sat on a chair like I am now, and yet your actual physiological response is happening, it's being. And I want the viewer to have that response, that kind of act of communication through the central nervous system. For me, painting is this improvisatory space. It's a moment where I'm not trying to plan ahead, I'm not trying to look and see what needs done, but I'm trying to be absolutely in that moment. It's mark and response, constant decision making in that moment. So I go in with that initial stage, which is, you know, just trying not to think, seeing the blank canvas as something that has so much potential. It's quite a joyful moment for me to see that moment of potentiality, and just going in, making a mark, responding to that, seeing how my body wants to be in that moment. I'm thinking a lot about the ground, about the mids, about reaching up, about spiraling, and just allowing myself to work across the space in that way, and then having this moment of standing back and seeing, well, what is here, and how do I respond to that? It's really important to me that these marks are built up over time, that there's this trajectory of my movement and gesture, of my history. I want the viewer to be able to see this process of action, and I want them to experience and sense time through it. I want them to have a sense of the physicality of the action, of the sense of muscularity that goes into it. And I'm thinking about how my body is moving through space, and how does that gesture impact back onto the surface that I'm working with? How do I push into that surface? How do I allow it to push back against me? And how is that kind of relationship that we're in, that's very much in that moment, very much working together, how does that impact on the gestural application that I'm putting into the work, and into the building up of that painting?